Hey, why the fuck not-ites out there? We're back. It's been an extra week. We will get into that very momentarily. But before we do that, as always, right across from me, I have...
Mr. Dwight.
And right to my right, I have...
The Ehrenmeister.
All right, so we missed 1 week, and I would like Dwight to explain the situation.
Listen, first... Oh, why we missed the week, okay? I feel like everyone understands. The Bare Naked Ladies were at Folk Fest.
For those of you that don't know, Folk Fest is like a week-long festival.
Hippie shit.
Yeah, it's
very
hippie.
hippie.
It's a hippie festival.
Yeah.
It's an outdoor music festival. We had a great time, though, and you know what? I don't regret going. It was a blast. It was a ton of fun. Bare Naked Ladies, like we talked about, is almost like a timeless 90s band.
I think they're very underrated now, which is weird that they're underrated at this point in their career, where back then I think that they weren't necessarily blowing up, but people...
But they were always
had their
around.
Niche crowd.
They were always around.
Yeah, they
from
were pretty big in the 90s.
92, I think, was their first album.
Gordon, I think.
Was Gordon. One, that one weird one where he's got like the dreadlocks in his hair, but they're short.
And it looked like a Pepsi.
Yeah, it almost looked like a Pepsi commercial.
Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, but that starting in the 1992 all the way up till probably 2004, they were super relevant. Yeah. They always had, at least in the top 20s, hits in Canada anyway. I don't know how far they went in the States, but in Canada, they were always within that top 20 range.
Yep.
But they disappeared off the face of the planet. I think a lot of it has to do with that one guy getting really fucked up on coke.
Didn't he die?
No, I think he just got fucked up on coke. I don't think he died. He might have died. We can look into that.
Well, we've all been there.
Yeah, dead?
Yeah. You've ever done so much
I've done on coke or dead? Which one?
You've ever done so much coke you die momentarily?
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. It was good. But yeah, I think they dropped off when he kind of went his own way. Like, for those in America that don't know who the Bare Naked Ladies are, they are the lead singer or the band that does the Big Bang Theory's opening.
God.
Instead
don't
of
put
saying
it
that
way.
because I
But
don't like that song, let's
but
talk
that's,
about
the point is
Ducks.
that's how they would know them, though.
Let's talk
like,
about the
alright,
Mighty Ducks. When they F off to the fair, when they skip school and they go to the fair, and then Grade 9 plays, that song plays in the background while they're on the roller coaster. Let's use that, because no one likes that Big Bang song.
No, how does not anybody like it? It's a solid, like,
no one
lyrically,
likes Big Bang Theory.
The lyrics are good.
The lyrics are good.
It's solid. There's a very... when that came out, there wasn't anything with solid lyrics.
It's because that was an overplayed song.
Super over. What's on every fucking episode? It's like, let's face it, Big Bang is basically the new Seinfeld now. It's on every channel with constant reruns. Like,
I hate it. I will murder everyone.
I'm pretty sure you hate anything that hits popularity, though.
No.
Why do you hate the Big Bang
This
Theory?
hates me. I hate it in a special way because
I hate it deep down in the cordials of my heart.
It takes nerd culture and it just kind of like glorifies it as this. These guys are nerds, but really they're just like
I'm pretty sure that's how the theme went. Actually, it was.
This is not nerd culture. These are random fucking people
they're
who are trying to.
Actually,
I hate them. I hate them.
To be completely honest, Blossom is an actual neurophysicist in real life. Look it up.
She seems like it.
She actually is. I don't know what I refuse to believe this.
Every time I've seen them talk about
that's
computers,
Sheldon's girlfriend in the movie.
Every time they've
in the
talked
show.
about computers,
yeah,
they're
she's
just
actually
like,
a scientist.
Get the fuck out of here.
Biologist, actually, I guess not Scientologist.
Scientologist?
Scientologist.
All right, I like it.
That's legit now. No, she's a biologist.
Here first.
Yeah, but either way, though, that's she knows what she's doing. Like it's not like, and they actually have real researchers doing the show
as best as they possibly could.
They have, from what I understand, they do. They have 5 correspondents on the show for all, like, not all sciences, but like for very major sciences to make sure everything's very accurate.
No.
He just refuses to do it.
As a nerd, you should look at this show.
Just like Cheers had a bunch of alcoholics to make sure that show was very fucking...
See, she agrees with me. You want to see a real nerd tech culture show? Watch Silicon Valley.
Just watch Reddit.
Silicon Valley. Have you seen Silicon Valley?
Silicon Valley is very good.
That is the best.
What's his face came out of that? Like the one that's in Deadpool.
Fucks.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the best.
He's getting passionate.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, that's a gregreat show. It is a good show. I don't want to take away and hear from people about how the Big Bang Theory does do the research, because they do. They do. They really do the research on stuff. They have people there that they hired specifically to it. And the actors are pretty good.
It's a good sitcom.
I mean, that's fucking David from Roseanne. Like, I always wanted to know what he was going to do with life, and he ended up getting the most popular show on TV right now. Close to, anyway. I think they're, like, making the same amount of money that Seinfeld was making per episode.
They're making more now.
They were like, well, in inflation-wise, because they were Seinfeld was making each of them individually $5 million an episode.
Jesus.
What was
towards the last?
What was Friends? Friends was some.
It was high, but it wasn't as much as Seinfeld was the highest up until recently, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was
It costs like $20 to make the show.
$20 to make the show. They bought the fucking apartment. They just everything is fucking free at this point.
What was that movie called? Buried with Dane Cook, I think it was.
Oh, where he was trapped in the fucking
Apparently
coffin?
that was the top grossing film almost of all time because it was literally the entire film was like
Him in a box?
Like that's all that needed to be.
Like
and then there was like a couple office scenes when they were talking to like the
It's
terrorists.
literally a movie about a dick in a box. You know,
But, like,
that's
it was so easy. It was like let's get a box and that was it.
Have you ever seen that movie,
Nice.
that phone booth movie? There was just like 90 minutes of
Oh, where he's
some
stuck
guy
in the
looking
phone booth?
scared in a phone
that's
booth.
well. There was that Vantage Point?
I thought it was phone booth.
Because Vantage
movie.
Point was something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vantage Point was
Yeah,
good, but
Vantage-
the film
no.
booth one where he's stuck on the phone the whole time,
Yeah,
right?
there's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a sniper pointing at it, and he's like,
yeah,
reach
yeah.
up, there's a gun.
Yeah.
And it's like,
what's that movie called now?
Phone booth.
Maybe it is called.
Nothing. Well, I'm only thinking of fucking Die Hard with a Vengeance, where he's wearing that sign and he's got the gun on the back,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"I'm a cop. I got a gun on my back." He's like, "Hey Zeus, my name's not Hey Zeus." He said, "Hey Zeus, my name is fucking Zeus."
nice.
Fucking love that movie.
Anyway.
Anyways,
So anyway, you got to go
Bare
see the
Naked Ladies.
big.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
fun to go see. Outdoor concerts too is like, they're a great
They're
time.
an experience.
They're an
yeah.
experience, yeah, because you're just like especially with Folk Fest, I thought it was really neat because
Everyone's
like if you
on
go somewhere
drugs.
with like Dolphin Fest where it was like country music and there's just like people getting rowdy and drunk and flipping off trailers. And,
just a bunch of like country
Flipping
people
off
doing
trailers.
their shit.
yeah,
Fuck you,
exactly.
trailer.
Exactly.
Just tipping cows. It's like, what else fucking stereotypes can we throw in here other than
But
that?
then you go to Folk Fest and you really can feel free with doing whatever you want there. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't have to be embarrassed or self-conscious.
You can tip
or,
a cow if you want, or you don't have to if you don't want to. You can
And no
accept
one will
that this
judge you
person's
for
going
it.
to.
I know people who go to Folk Fest and just like drop a couple hits of acid and just like wander around.
Oh,
and, like,
everyone's
join
just
Well,
people
that's
happy.
usually what
You
happens,
get
like-
great
Yeah.
conversations with people, and no one's looking to fight or to get rowdy or to. Everyone's
I've
just
never
there to
been.
enjoy this music and the good vibrations.
Yeah, I got a couple friends that volunteer on it every year, and they just go do their one volunteer that they have to do, and then they just take drugs.
Yeah.
And that's
I have a general
the rest
It's
of
like
the
a
week.
big safe
fear of
community together.
hippies.
You do?
Yeah.
You are a hippie.
Yeah, you are.
Hey,
You're a new age
hey,
hippie.
Wearing like a
Whoa.
tie-dye shirt right now.
Yeah,
This is not tie dye.
that is close enough.
Close enough,
Excuse
okay.
me. These are geometric shapes.
It's the new age hippie, right? Geometric shapes and different
Exactly what it
colors.
is.
Is
Yeah.
Alright, whatever.
fine.
It was a great time though. It was a ton of fun.
That's awesome. That's really good. How about yourself, Aaron? What have you been up to for the past couple of weeks? I hear you have taken on more of like a new hobby, more or less.
Yeah, I've been paintballing actually. I'm buying a paintball gun marker, paintball marker. It's not a gun.
It's
Later
marker.
today.
Oh, later today. Yeah, you were saying you're going to do that today. Yeah.
Yes.
Are you
So
spending
getting excited?
a lot of money on it?
A lot of money for me.
Yeah.
It's $200.
So that's like almost the same amount your mom spent on those tokens. Sorry, I had to do it.
You know? You know?
That's a good way to
Fuck.
put it.
That is a good way of putting it. Like it's a good
I feel
investment.
guilty about
I'll
it.
say this right
Spent $200 worth of
I'll say this right now. It was $130, and fuck both you guys. I got that money back.
Oh,
you?
yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
Oh, don't clap for me like you're proud. You fucking.
We all were like, no way you're getting it back. You're an idiot.
You
I just got it
fucking
back.
hypocrites.
Wow. Okay, you got it back.
I'm sorry.
I never thought we'd say that, but you got it.
Good for you, Aaron. Congratulations. Now you get to
Here's the
get. You can
worst.
use that money on a
You
gun
shit
now.
on me for this. You shit on me for my cryptocurrency. I hate you guys. Everything I do in my life, you're like,
not
that's not
supportive."
gonna work.
Oh, a paintball gun is gonna work.
It is. Yeah.
You're gonna buy it and it's gonna be broken.
It's not a bad.
Just get
Well,
shoot
Brad,
yourself
you're
in the
getting
foot.
some
That's all you're
shit
gonna be
on
able to
that.
do.
Oh,
As
I
long
did
as you're
that.
pointing down, it'll shoot. It really just falls out.
I went with Devin, which is the guy we work with. And like I've gone twice now, and like I've become pretty hardcore. Not his hardcore level. He's like full on camo and shit.
Yeah.
But like we did this thing called the gauntlet. Did you do the gauntlet?
No, I didn't do it. Like I watched.
I'm
them
gonna
do
be
I was
doing it
like,
when I go.
Oh, I'll do it
you
with
know.
you.
I told them I would do it. Yeah.
Fuck, why do I keep volunteering for this?
Like where you run basically.
Yeah,
or
you
is
get
it-
shot at. You try and avoid like.
You run maybe 30, 40 meters. I'm not doing the conversion for you. Figure it out. For the Americans and the metric and the imperial. You run, well, basically everybody just unloads at you from probably like 20 feet away. Now, this motherfucker went and got every single person on the field to come and to shoot at me. So it was me and one other guy. And this guy was
Yeah, it's hot here.
a lot more in shape than me. So he ran a lot faster than me. We'll put it that way.
Jeez.
Ah.
Well, that sounds fun.
It does sound a little bit
There
of
was
fun.
probably like 30 people. 5 of them had fully automatic weapons. I got hit a lot.
It's still like I get it though. I get the excitement
It's
of
adrenaline.
like
There's
it's
something
adrenaline.
about getting a
Yeah.
shot like that, and like it sucks and never feels good when you're doing it. But like right after, you get this like surge of like,
endorphin rush.
man, like I'm a fucking man. I got through. You know, like it just.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Yeah, just shoot me right now.
Shoot me. Let's go.
I went through. By the end of the day, I had 30 welts.
Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a really bad sunburn. Which
Yeah,
I was
your
saying-
sunburn was fucked up.
I
It
remember
literally
saying-
looks like you have never walked into the sun before in your life.
I
Is what it
really
looked like.
don't. I don't go out much.
Well, at least if
Illuminated
anything
lights
comes
all
with
you
this,
get.
at least you get to see daylight once in a while.
Yeah,
So that's
no, I
cool.
think this is a great thing for you.
Yeah.
I think you found a
Cool
good
sport.
outlet that's really going to help you out.
I
and
run occasionally.
yeah, this is a good way. Like this is a healthy way to get out shit that you need to fucking work through in your life, whatever it is. It's a very
my
healthy
lust
way to
for
do
violence.
it. Yeah. Well, no, it's true though. Like it's a good way to work that shit out.
Yeah.
Like.
You know what I'm thinking? Sorry, this is just a random thing because you said you were warm, and just so everyone knows, it is boiling in here. We're sitting downstairs, and we can't have the
Drinking
fan on because
coffee.
it's gonna.
It's
drinking
gonna.
hot coffee.
Yeah, we're drinking hot coffee.
But
That's
you know
what
what I'm
happened.
picturing right now is like, have you? Well, obviously you guys have seen Ace Ventura when
Yeah.
nature calls.
Yeah.
You know when he's in the
In
rhino.
the rhino,
I'm just waiting for us all to strip down ass naked.
crawl out of the rhino's asshole.
Ah!
That was like my favorite
That was
scene.
such a good.
There's some
scene.
kid.
But yeah, it is hot in here, but unfazed.
Unfazed.
The
We'll
only
deal
one,
with it.
yeah. And Ed's wearing a sweater right now.
Yeah, I feel really terrible at the moment.
I'm really uncomfortable right now.
I'm just pointing. I will be changing as soon as there's a good break in the conversation where you guys are going to
That's
talk.
probably not a terrible idea. Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
get
I
your
think
jeans off, get
yeah.
your sweater off, and
Oh, my tits are sweating.
yeah. I can see the sweat marks underneath. Yeah, they're there.
God damn, it's hot in here. Well,
but-
if you didn't, but
Now
got
we're
on.
gonna ask about your day because
Oh yeah,
but I know a huge thing happened that I'm super envious of. Ed is a lord,
oh yeah.
so this is huge.
Technically.
And
I am Lord Edward of the Manor.
so if anyone emails or wants to communicate with Ed directly, make sure you put Lord.
I will not answer if you don't.
Please
I'm
address
just
him as
please
Lord
address
Ed.
Lord Ed.
Um,
My anniversary. We spoke about this when we went on our honeymoon. I got a late gift from my wife. Fucking fantastic gift. She got an adopted plot of land or something like that out in England. What this does is basically give me the title of Lord, and I'm allowed to if legally I'm allowed to sign my name Lord
Wicked.
on
Change your
things.
driver's
And
license.
Oh,
I should Lord.
Yep,
I
I
wonder if you could.
I want to
Yeah.
maybe.
Hey man,
Why wouldn't you be able to?
can wear a fucking strainer on your head and say you're Pastafarianism, Pastafari, you can get away with this.
I think I should be able to. I think this is fair. But I don't know. I like the idea and the concept of this. I think it's a really novel approach to the paper anniversary because that's what it's got to be.
Super neat.
Yeah, and the fact that it's like a couple's plot. So I'm Lord of the Land, she's Lady of the Manor, whatever it is. Yeah, it's such a cool fucking idea.
Super cool idea.
Yeah, I would never. It kind of floored me. I didn't expect her to get that. So
Oh, by the way,
I really appreciated it. I thought it was super cool.
we should tell you this now because we're friends, but we will declare war on you.
Yeah, we were talking.
Yeah,
about
you were
this on
saying.
the
Let's,
way
I'm
here.
thinking I should ratify a state. Is what I'm.
I'm a country man.
I'm gonna figure out where that shared property is in England, and I'm gonna go on your 1 square foot of land that you
Invasion!
have, and I'm gonna put a flag on there.
Yeah, if we can get a flag and more people than you
And
have.
I own this land now.
This is my
He's
land.
no longer a lord.
It's a USA flag. Like, what the fuck?
No, I'm gonna make my own flag.
But yeah, that was fucking fantastic. I think that was a really cool thing that happened to me over this past week and a half.
really
I never saw it coming, and I always kind of joked about it with her. So it's
Fun
really
idea.
cool.
I didn't even know
this
that was a
happened.
real thing.
I didn't either, and I'm assuming she didn't until she started looking it up. But that just goes to show that for the rest of my life, I am never going to be able to live up to her gifts. She always comes up with these crazy good gifts that are aren't stupid expensive or anything. They're just really
Thoughtful and cool.
Thoughtful. Yeah, that's the word that I'm looking for.
You
It's
gotta
really good.
get in touch with the queen and get her knighted.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
No,
we were trying to figure out how do
Fine.
we become a sir.
Because I want to be Sir Dwight.
Dwight was
and-
on the
yeah.
way here. Dwight's like, my life goal now is to be knighted.
I just need to be knighted. I don't know if I need to go to England and just save the queen. I don't know what it's going to entail for me to get knighted. Because they only do it
we
to a
have
handful of people.
viewers
Yeah,
in
we could
England.
do a Kickstarter for him and
We
just be
have
get him
viewers
knighted.
in-
Get
We
it
have
up.
viewers in England?
Someone get back to us. How
Please
do we
tell
get
us
knighted?
how I can get knighted.
What can we do to do this? But seriously though, let's just kick up a Kickstarter for Dwight to get knighted. See what type of
you.
money we can do. Get him out there. I think
Yep.
we need to move towards your life goal. I would support you, and I hope you would support me. Let's get him knighted somehow.
I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate that. I know we got to take Aaron to ayahuasca. I need to get knighted. Now we just need to wait on your life dream. And
I'm good with like some licorice and a Coke.
It's not good enough.
I think I can figure that one out.
Think about it. All right.
Like, we'll give you a week or two.
We got other big goals to go.
Well, if you didn't know, this is Why the Fuck Not, where three guys sit around one table and bring one topic for your general amusement. And today we got a great one, follow up on our last episode, which was totally unintentional, our episode, but it turned out I loved it.
Yep.
I think most people that heard it really liked it as well. But today we are talking about the end of the world. The world. And I think this is going to be a fun one. This is a good chance for us to kind of like get out like what we think may happen, may not. Understand, folks, we did zero research on this, or at least I didn't. This is just what we think.
I've been researching this my whole life.
And New Age hippie has been looking this up for his whole life.
But he's not a hippie.
I'm not a hippie.
He hates hippies. He's scared of them.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't do any real research. This is my own personal thoughts throughout the things. But before we continue on, speaking of End of the Worlds, I just want to throw out a little shout out. This is pretty dear to me because I grew up watching these movies. Yesterday night, George A. Romero passed away in his sleep. He's the person that did Land of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead. He modernized zombies the way that we see them today, and I just want to basically give him a little shout out, little moment of silence for George A. Romero because he's been an idol of mine, film wise. Cool. So just 3 seconds. Okay.
There it is.
Cool. You've lived a good life.
If we're doing shout outs. Hey, sorry, it's for a good cause.
Way to ruin the whole thing, Aaron.
I was going to say fuck that guy during the silence.
That was nice of you not to do that.
Yeah, I'm a good person.
I appreciate it. Today. I'm a good person. I'm saying it after the silence. Fuck that guy.
Well, going back to our previous episodes where I talked about Alphabay, which is one of the largest darknet marketplaces, it is gone. Rip Alphabay. Alphabay is gone. No longer.
Why did it end?
It was gone. It went down for about a week, and people on Reddit, which like there's a whole following where you can talk about it on Reddit, they're like, Jesus fucking panic, what's going on? They thought people had just ran off with the money, like the admins just ran off with the money. But this hasn't really been confirmed, but what they're saying now is there was this bust about 4 or 5 days ago in Quebec, and there was some mention of darknet related things.
Yeah, nobody knew what it was, right? It was very like hush hush exactly what the bust was.
Yeah, still people don't really know. But the latest
rhyme. Were you trying to do that? Sorry.
We're sick. I think we need to remix that.
Sick
we can run off that for the next 15 years of our life.
It's freestyle this whole podcast. And then, so this guy named Alex something or other, they were going to arrest him. He was in Thailand. He was related to this somehow. So he was arrested in a Thai jail, and then they found him dead the other day.
It was suicide, right?
Yes, they're saying suicide by hanging. They actually released a picture of him with a towel around his neck.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean suicide. Like,
no, not necessarily in a Thai jail.
Yeah, it could be very much staged that way, especially in a Thai jail. They don't have the same, like, not that America or Canada has much better regulations as to investigations of criminals, but they could have. It could have been just about anything, whatever. Right? It could have been the guards doing something. Could have been other fucking inmates. Yeah.
Like, especially outside of the States where they govern themselves, like the prisoners govern themselves, and they kind of just allow it to happen.
I mean, you know what I mean? There is also a good case for suicide. This guy was going to face life in jail and probably harsher.
And he was like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, well, why the fuck would you? Like at that point, and especially when it comes to stuff like fucking with the U.S.'s money, you're stuck. There's nothing you're gonna do to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like, there's fucking hippies that have been there for like so minor charges that are never gonna get out.
Yeah. The reason I believe they're going after this site so hard is because they sold guns, ammo. This was one of the largest places to buy like credit card numbers, fraudulent data, shit like that, and a leading cause in like all this fentanyl and shit.
So how long was this site? This isn't our topic, but I do have a couple questions on it. Like, how long did this site run for? Because I know Silk Road did like a year or two, didn't it, before it started really getting hit hard?
Yeah, Silk Road did, I think, about 3 years.
Yeah, so like, how long has this been kind of up?
Alphabay went down. It was... from what I've heard, I don't know the exact history, but it was created by Russian credit card hackers, which we don't know if this is true. This guy who died, they believe he is one of the head moderators. and they've sort of confirmed this, not entirely. Wall Street Journal is reporting on it, but I don't know if they have confirmed this with like the FBI or if this is what they're getting off the speculation from Reddit, which is where I'm getting it. But
we know from this point that everything on Reddit is 100% true.
Yeah, they caught the Boston bomber.
Who
wasn't really the Boston bomber.
But I mean, somebody got caught.
Alphabet was up for, I think, 3 years. It was probably the largest at the time.
That's respectable. You know what? Here's a slow clap for them. Good for them.
Sorry, I was holding coffee.
I was going to say, fuck that site during that clap, but I didn't.
Whoa now.
Okay.
Okay, so let's continue on with the end of the world. I'm going to start off by saying, like, in my own personal opinion, I want to say epidemic would be one of the things that could, like, really clear us out. I don't think it's as likely with the way that modern science has gone throughout the years. Like, we've had... I can't remember what the closest... It might have been smallpox or something like polio, scoliosis...
Scoliosis?
Yeah.
Was it scoliosis epidemic?
All
these people...
I'm pretty sure...
We're all gonna die!
Everybody's got bad backs. But seriously, though, like we had the Black Plague, the binomic... What the fuck is it? Bubonic. Thank you, bubonic. I'm really bad. I say puma instead of puma. So... we had the bubonic, the fucking plague, bubonic, the plague, the bebop, the fucking b-boy plague, where everybody just fucking grabbed cardboard and danced on the streets.
Yeah,
it was fucking really, really rough time in the 80s where everybody just sat there fucking dancing in the streets.
So many dead people in the streets dancing.
But we had those, but like early or like as of now, like those wiped out big portions of the population. Where to now we have things like SARS, West Nile, and all these other things, malaria, fucking what was it? The fucking they're saying Ebola coming out again. Ebola, that gets knocked real fast by our like researchers and our scientists being able to like, okay, well let's fucking nip this right now. And they've been really good about that. But I still think that there's going to be something that comes out. Everything's evolving.
Some kind of virus.
Yeah, I think my personal opinion. Yeah, I think it's going to be a virus that has evolved past where because this is what viruses are designed to do.
It's not crazy to think at all.
Because
there's
happened before.
There's like it's happened before exactly, and there's like tribes right now, like we've talked about before, I think on this podcast, where like have been
never seen the light of day.
So at this point, because of all the antibodies we built up to all these viruses,
we show up, they die. Like,
they die. If we make contact with these people, they're dead.
Yeah, because we have all the stuff in us that's just already that we've already gotten immunity to from like just basic evolution, but they not having to be around anybody have zero fucking antibodies against this in their body. So what like the way that diseases and viruses are designed by nature is just to constantly evolve and constantly survive. It's the survival of the fittest. So the ones that stay are the ones that are going to continue to evolve past what we've done.
Well, we're definitely seeing this now, and what you're speaking of sort of goes on to this, where one of the things that we're seeing recently come out is we're seeing viruses and diseases that are now they're immune to antibiotics.
Yeah, and that's crazy to think. Like that was our answer to everything, and I think that's also part of our downfall.
Oh, definitely.
Is that our answer to everything is antibiotics? I don't take them unless I really like feel it's important. Like if I'm legitimately like a super severe lung infection or something, okay, I'll take them for those type of things. But I've been to so many walk-in clinics where you're like, I think I broke my toe. They're like, well, here's some antibiotics, and that should maybe help you. And like they just prescribe them just to shut you up.
What the issue is? They'll
just
prescribe
like,
you based on.
This.
They'll look in your ear. Oh, it looks like an ear infection, quick, and then they'll give you some kind of medication that helps with ear infections. When it could be something totally different.
Like antibiotics are good, but we're overdoing it. We're giving it to all our animals and shit. Everything we eat is a bunch of antibiotics.
We just build immunity to it all the time. Like, and I mean, if you think about it,
and
there's
it's supporting our immune system, right? Like, it's not like we're not building our immune system on our own at this point, right? Like, we're not using our own antibodies to fight these diseases. We're just taking some kind of supplement that
does it for us.
A small dose of this infection, and we're taking
it's a dead virus, right?
It's a dead virus.
Yeah, the vaccines are a dead virus anyway. Which is, I'm not saying the vaccines are bad. I think vaccines have been fucking wonderful for.
They're almost a must at this point. Right? Like it's
vaccines.
Don't be one of those.
Are just mercury.
You
Jesus Christ!
I knew you were gonna go down that road.
I had to.
Just all sweaty.
Warning, I don't believe this. My brother is a doctor. He has yelled at me many times.
Vaccines are almost like a must now in today's society. At least when you're young. At least when you're taking like there's
your development ages.
Yeah, there's some you need to take between the age like when you're born to like 7. But after that, there's like a lot of them that, I mean, like aside from a tetanus shot, I don't think I've taken any.
Well, I did the hepatitis one just a few months back.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like get ready for trips and stuff like that. So I did that one. But other than that, the last time I got shots for like vaccinations, a fucking long time ago. I don't get the flu shot every single year.
No.
Well, that's a bad idea.
Well, a lot of people do that, though.
I haven't had the flu shot in forever.
Yeah, I haven't had it. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I had it. I was probably a teenager.
The thing with the flu shot, it's not necessarily like vaccines, but they're using last year's bacteria and shit like that. Like the flu changes so quickly that it's not necessarily going to be effective. Like it's for some people,
you pretty much get sick anyways. Like
yeah, well,
that flu.
It's dangerous for people who have bad immune systems. Like my mom, she cannot get anything like that, or she could relapse and basically get her disease again,
right? That's fucking...
just from being sick.
So there is like some circumstances that should be avoided and that type of thing. But I mean, the way that I kind of been looking at the way that they're treating the flu shot is it's just the fucking human evolution version of a patch for a fucking game, you know, like every single year you're gonna get the new one, boom, boom, and it keeps you up to date. And like fucking, I'm not up to date. I gotta fucking go and get myself my next flu shot.
I don't like that. Flu shots.
Me neither. I don't do that either. Like very rarely do I grab a flu shot. I do believe that you should have like you don't want to like fucking get rickets. You don't want to get fucking like your shingles and stuff. You have like the big ones, like those you need. But like I don't necessarily feel that you need to get every single flu shot. You should like if you're gonna do it every couple of years. It doesn't need to be every single year, but I think there's some people that,
or if you're
there's a happy medium that we should be hitting, and I don't think we're hitting it.
Like some of the hepatitis ones, like those are pretty good if you're going somewhere that has.
you need it, right?
Yeah, it's important.
Somewhere or that, malaria.
For sure.
Like, you don't need to fucking diarrhea yourself
disease.
to death.
No,
that
sounds terrible. You may as well take
there's better ways to die.
Yeah. Well, I would hope so. I don't want. Well, I don't know. Sometimes the real good shit is really nice.
Not when you're shitting out your intestines and you're so dehydrated.
How do you know? You haven't tried it.
Maybe it's great.
Maybe it's good.
You never know. But that's where I think I would go. Like, people always are like, oh, are you prepared for the zombie apocalypse? Fuck off. That's not going to happen. We're not going to have zombies
when we say
everywhere.
Zombie apocalypse, and you're talking about, like, is it just going to be all of us sickly, though?
Different,
around?
in a different form.
Around, but it's...
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like the rise of the dead, like all of our fucking ancestors
like
are coming up in bone form. And
all our organs are just back to life.
Like, that's bullshit. Like, there's no way that's going to happen. Yes, the people argue, there's this disease with fucking insects that basically turn them into zombies. They die and they have that mushroom thing.
Our closest thing to zombies is basically rabies.
Yeah, and I do think something like that is a possibility where people have like basically lose themselves. There's nothing left of them in there. They're just fucking gone.
And then if they bit someone.
Well, yeah, it's
they would get it too.
They only get
so
one
like
shot.
That aspect is, but
don't miss their chance to blow.
Do we really
this
need to go?
Opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Oh, fucking.
We knew where you're going.
You gotta lose yourself in the music before.
Mom, spaghetti.
All right.
Mom,
before we get a copyright claim.
I think we should probably stop on that.
Real close.
Yeah, like we were a second away from that. But like seriously though, like the whole zombie thing that's going on in our society right now is it's been romanticized, and I think people like almost it's fun to think about. I think people almost want it to happen because they're so fucking ready for it. And I'm like, if that shit ever really happened, you know what's gonna happen? Fucking Walmart's gonna get fucking raided like crazy. Stay the fuck away from Walmart. Stay the fuck away from Costco.
Well,
you know where you want to go? Go to the mom and pop shop down the road that like nobody's gonna think about going to that fucking place.
Fuck that. Go to the whitest trash guy because he's already got everything you need.
But it's weird because they'll come like there is viruses that spread so quickly that I know people that will even like stock up on water or they'll stock up on food.
They currently do that.
Like a lot of people do it.
Yeah, I've done that. Me and my friend did that.
There's actually a shelter in I think it's Sweden. I want to say it's like a bunker that's like one of the most.
There's a bunch of those.
Yeah, it's like an untouched it's like one place you can't get near. Yeah, and you can't. They have like all like their corn seeds. They have like
like to be able to rebuild the population.
Exactly,
rebuild,
it's all set in this one kind of silo.
Those places,
it's fucking like that's smart to have. Like,
well, you'll need it. I feel like at some point or another, it's gonna come. Like if we didn't have corn anymore, and if we didn't we would kill ourselves off anyways. Like we need.
Well, a lot of people say it would be better if there's some sort of apocalypse to just, hey, fuck this, I don't want to deal with this.
A reboot of the society sort of deal?
Yeah, just I'm David Koresh and myself and just fucking...
Yeah.
Well, it's not too far off. Like right now, we are the biggest virus on this planet. Like human beings are the biggest virus.
I mean,
walking
Fallout
on this
would
planet.
be super fun to live in, but
Yeah, Megaton. I don't know.
fucking
Sorry,
mech
I watched
suits.
that shit. They didn't look very happy. I'm just saying they didn't look like they had big smiles on their face.
Whatever, man.
I'm just saying it'd be fun to have a fat boy walking around.
Portable missile launcher.
Just
yeah.
have it in your
for sure
pocket.
die off before like due to maybe a virus or something. Then like then
You're
creatures
very
in the sea
confident
or
on this.
no like I have my own kind of what I think's gonna happen.
Yeah,
so
like,
I
this
can
is
get
just
on
my
that, but
theory
I'm just
right
kind
now,
of
like-
running off of his theory right now too. You got to think like how many. The irony to me is that like there's so many creatures in the sea and that are gonna outlive us all. I'm sure this is my thought on it. Like that are gonna outlive us all when we have them in cages and like. I don't want to talk about like zoos and shit like that and riding dolphins and that whole. You don't want to hear that
I
whole.
love
rant from
riding
me.
dolphins. That's my new hobby.
No, riding dolphins. We've
Aside
talked
from
about this.
paintballing.
Dolphins are arguably
They're more likely to-
smart or smarter than
They're
human
fun
beings,
to
and we
ride.
capture
Sounds like they're
them
more
and-
likely to ride you from that one story that you fucking told us, like that girl that was in the basement that fucking yeah,
Where she jerked off the
yeah, where
dolphin?
she just sat there
That was
jerking off.
science.
That was
alright?
not science.
That was
Oh, that's-
legitimate science.
You know what? We're gonna go get an elephant,
creatures
and then
are
we're gonna
gonna
go
outlive
shove a whole
us.
bunch of LSD in the elephant.
That was also
science.
science. And LSD did not kill that elephant. You guys are a bunch of haters.
Yeah. I think that we're like on the path, but like right at this very moment, I'm thinking I might change my answer to the heat's gonna get so bad we're all gonna fucking melt.
Global warming.
Yeah,
We're
no,
all
I
gonna
just right at
fucking
this
melt.
exact moment, right fucking
I'm
now.
gonna die right now.
It's the end of the world just for us.
I'll tell you when the end of the world is. In about 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're all fucking. Dwight,
Um,
what is your idea on what you think might kind of like put an end to our existence on this? Oh,
was
that
it-
feels nice.
Oh god, we have a little gust of wind coming in that I can't feel, but I can see them just basking in it.
Oh, it's fucking
Boy, does it look
gorgeous.
good.
We can play musical chairs and switch up.
Yeah, really
Every
fucking
couple
mix it up.
minutes.
See, I'm probably going 3D with everybody right now.
I think Einstein said that once all the bumblebees die, that's when we're gonna become extinct.
Einstein said that?
Was it Einstein?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was Einstein.
I don't know if it was Einstein or not, but it's definitely a fucking possibility.
That seems like a
Google it
pretty
right now.
recent thing. Because like we're facing that now. A lot of people are super worried about that.
Because we're having an
here's
extinction
the-
of.
Sorry, I probably went a little weird on the sound on there. I was all over the place, but the thing about the bumblebees that people are like scared about is that bees are one of like the number one fucking pollinators out there. They continue life of plants, which if you didn't guess it, we probably need those in our lives just to fucking
Maybe.
survive. Yeah, just a little bit.
I'm not certain.
You're not well, yeah.
How do
You
you
can
mean
you
those-
can survive with fucking rust in the goddamn computer that lasts for
I
a
don't need
1,000 hours.
oxygen.
Yeah, it was Einstein who said it.
It was Einstein.
It was
Okay.
Einstein, yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah. Forbes wrote an article about it. But honeybees are responsible for $30 billion a year in crops. They basically, they pollinate everything. So I mean, like without them, and if we eventually lose out our food source, where do you go from there?
Genetically modified.
Yeah, GMOs.
It's still looking
Like,
for the end of we
yeah,
we don't
I
even
don't-
know
I don't
half
think
the
that we
we don't
could
even
do
know the
that.
long term effects on a lot of those things.
Oh, of course not.
Well,
Like,
I think
well,
the
some of
long-term
them we do.
event
Some of them.
is basically like really delicious grapes.
Oof,
Yeah,
bigger
look at
grapes.
bananas.
Yeah, bigger
Normal.
like apple grapes.
Way better than
Have you ever
organic.
seen what
exactly.
bananas used to look like? They're like these weird, gross things that have seeds. Now they're these delicious motherfuckers that are
Yeah.
like the best
Yeah.
fruits. They're
Banana
portable.
bread's really good.
GMOs isn't the solution long term, and we really don't know. We haven't been around long enough to know what happens when you're taking in a lot of these pesticides after 100 years. Like it's funny. There's
selective
a lot of
breeding is one thing.
there's a thing like even when we go to Popeyes, for example, or something, and we're getting supplements for.
I thought you meant
for
the chicken
protein
place.
And
It's
for,
like, we live in
yeah,
Canada.
Popeyes.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
would
there
love
is a
that.
Popeyes.
We
It's
do
like
chicken
a
right.
it's a supplement store, but even if you go in there, like it's like every month they're taking things on and off the shelf because they found that there was some kind of side effect 5 years down the line
Yeah.
after taking this.
Or the
That goes.
supplement
What's
was
good?
tainted.
Yeah, what's good one month isn't going to be good the next. Most recent
years,
thing for me, I was taking a antacid pill probably about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. And I went back because I started getting antacid again really bad to my doctor. And he's like, "Yeah, we can't give you that. It turns out that gives you dementia." I'm like, "Oh, that's
wow,
wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks."
Yeah, thanks.
They said recent studies mean that it puts you at a higher risk of it.
There's been so many cases of that. There was that one I think it was supposed to like lower your blood sugar or something, and it gave people heart attacks.
Oh
People's hearts just exploded.
Like, it happens all the time. Prescribing people things that are just, the side effect is worse than what they're trying to cure.
Speaking of supplements, I only know this because I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, but there was that one fighter who was taking like a natural, some sort of supplement, and then he got busted. That like, because they tested his piss or whatever, and they're like, you have some sort of steroid. And then they ended up buying that same shit at a store and testing it, and it had steroids in it because all this shit is being manufactured in China.
In the steroid fucking factory?
Yeah, like, it wasn't...
It's all in the same factory, and they don't necessarily clean their shit well enough.
You think it would, so within the supplements, it would have to be, like, really fucking careful with that, but...
Nah, shit coming from China, man.
Yeah, but, like...
it's all the time they find, like, weird traces of stuff in supplements. Oh, but, like, we don't know a lot of the long-term effects that come with any of this stuff.
I'm very weary of supplements.
I knew, like, I've taken pretty much every supplement you could think of when it came to, like, working out, like, pre-workouts and
were you into
BCAAs
supplements in, like, in the 90s when they were
giving you, like, GHB? Recent thing?
I think the first time I took a supplement was, like, I was probably 15, I'd want to say.
Oh, wow.
15. So, like...
GHB used to be a supplement.
But there was a lot of the pre-workouts that I took back then that are off the shelf now, and that, like, they don't even... Like, there was some that would give me migraines, and then there was other supplements that would, like, that... Like, there was one called, what was it called? It was 1MR, one more rep, but it was, like, the first version of it. They've, like, came out with, like, 4 versions since then. But this shit would, like, make you just, like, lose your gut. Like, I would be like happy and then sad. And
so basically give you like bipolar.
Steroids.
It was almost like a test booster in a pre-workout, and made you hyper, and then it made you emotional, and it made you like you could. It was the weirdest feeling ever. And it was
Dwight fucking working out, just crying.
It was so.
I'm so fucking ripped.
I love this. And then the beta alanine's in there, so you're scratching your face because all the blood vessels are exploding.
Yeah, there's been.
They just give you meth. That's what they gave you.
Some of the stuff man. They used to. I'm telling you, GHB used to be a supplement. Mm-hmm. You could just go and buy that shit. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, I think it's what you said. I think the same thing, that we're going to be naturally killing off ourselves. I think it'll be like I don't know. Like, I mean, there's a million possibilities what can happen, but I really think that we'll kill ourselves off before, Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson think that we're going to have another ice age. I think we'll kill ourselves off way before that. Or before a meteor gets
an ice age. I think a meteor is totally possible.
Within the realm of possibility, for sure.
Yeah, especially in the near future. When you look at like the space junk and you look at like the meteor paths. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like you look at it and it's like it really doesn't take much to detour one of those huge ass rocks that can destroy our planet. Like, it's literally like if it falls off path of a 10th of degree, like, we're done.
Like, they can pick up
shit shooting at it.
They can predict like the path of a meteor, but they can't predict obstacles in its way that could shoot it off its path, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's absolutely fucking true. Like, we've had some meteors that that would have basically wiped out half the world, not far away from our planet. Mm-hmm. Like, it sounds like, when you hear the numbers, I can't remember what it is. It's maybe not quite that far, but like it's far enough away that it sounds impractical, but it's close enough that a small trajectory change could have brought it right towards us, and that would have just wiped us half out. So.
If you listen to what Randall Carlson says, he says that has happened at least once before. Like, besides the dinosaurs event, he was saying there's evidence of several major meteors.
Well, there's that one in, is it Utah that has that gigantic crater?
There's a bunch of them.
Oh yeah,
there's
some of them that fucking are gigantic, and they're like, oh yeah, this was a fucking meteor.
Well, they say the meteor or the asteroid or whatever that took out the dinosaurs was 5 kilometers in length, or 5 miles probably.
Okay, so
that's it.
That's all it takes. It doesn't take that much.
It doesn't take much, man.
Like, you gotta... That's not 5 kilometers out of our atmosphere. That's coming in. Because remember, there's going to be a lot of break-off and debris on its way in. And essentially, the actual impact of this meteor hitting Earth was at 5 kilometers. And like, if you think about the speed that's fucking going...
Yeah.
And, like, it hitting... Oh, yeah, that would... The shock waves of that alone would wipe out.
Think of, depending where that hit now, even something a third or half that size would be devastating. Yeah. If that hit China, we're fucked.
Yeah, that's where the hell are we going to get our anime?
Yeah.
And our pre-workouts.
And the pre. I mean, even that there alone is
all
just...
All shit comes from China, though.
Well, it's true though. If something happened there, that would like set our economy back probably 50, 60 years at least, because
that is a legit worry. Like, we have people watching the skies. People have said that we have enough technology that if we had the proper funding, we could come up with something that would divert these asteroids that are coming towards Earth, but no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I mean...
Well, there's funding going to it, but it's not as much as it probably should be, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You know, like, we've lost touch with almost our sight in nature.
They're not government groups.
But here's the deal, though. You can soak all that money into moving these asteroids, like this thing that can actually prevent a possibility of a wipeout or an extinction of our species, or we can find a better way to get donuts from the freezer to the fucking shelves without actually using an oven. Now that's important. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what really matters.
That will prolong our lives.
Right now, in the state that we're in, I know that NASA is in like a constant decline of funding. Like they're never getting the same amount as the year before, and it's fucking terrible.
The funding for the EPA is gone.
It's constantly going down, and it's basically our world not willing to invest in our future when they do something like that. In fact, they're more investing in our end when they put things towards like nuclear testings and missile building and like warmongering just in general. Yeah. And that money is basically going towards the investment of us wiping ourselves out. Yep. Whether it be in mass genocide or whether it be in a smaller increments, and that's kind of where it's been going for a while. Like we do have a population problem with the amount that is coming on here, and I'm not saying that this is what their intentions are, but it almost seems like it when they keep investing in this type of thing. Like, what was the U.S. budget in the past couple of years in war just alone? It was
$100 trillion.
Yeah, it was like some ridiculous fucking number that they don't even have. Like, it's at the point that they don't have this money anymore.
And then they bail out the banks, like in 2008.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Makes it even worse.
Yep. Just puts us into that same fucking thing. What was it? I remember hearing this weird. I'm going to go off topic here, but I remember hearing this weird story about this. I believe he was associated with the Unabomber, and he went to court because
Ted Kaczynski was the Unabomber.
Yeah, Ted Kaczynski. It was somebody really closely associated to him, but he owed $25,000. So he went to court. It was all of like the guns and shit that he bought and all this weird shit. And he tried to countersue, saying that the fucking court or the banks loaned him money that they didn't have, so technically they still owe him $26,000. Wow. And he wants a check for $26,000.
Good argument.
True enough, though.
Yeah, but he lost like fucking terribly. Yeah. But the point is that we don't have any money. We are all fucking broke. Every single one of us. Like, if you go in accounts for what the deficit on each, like Canada and the United States are, we don't have money.
We could do
we keep playing around with this money.
If I bring on my friend Colin, we could do a whole podcast.
Here's the deal, though, and I heard a really good fucking argument. This was a shout out to fucking last podcast on the left. It was a recent one that they talked about, where they were saying that people that say that, oh, money isn't worth anything because money had an attached value to gold and silver, right?
Right.
Because the thing is that with gold and silver wasn't worth anything at 1.2. They were just shiny, and we put a monetary value on it. Yep. The same way that we're doing with the money. So, like, where's the difference between the two of them? And I agree with that argument. Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Money's not something you can really, like, it's just plastic. It's not anything, something you can really...
Well, the thing with money, the difference between money and currency is something that actually has value. Money is something that you have assigned value to. Bitcoin, the only reason Bitcoin is valuable is because people believe in it. They believe in the technology. That's the only reason why money is valuable.
Absolutely.
And sure,
that's the only for gold and silver. It was shiny, and people wanted the shiny thing.
But there's more to it than that. Nowadays there's things we can do with silver and gold. Like, it's used a lot in electronics,
especially gold. Yeah, there's a lot of people that harvest old electronics and old cell phones so that they can extract the gold from it. Yeah,
where they see it has an actual purpose. Whereas money, we're not making computers out of fucking.
Like, well, seriously, that's why
I think it's something like 5% of the world's currency is physical, and 95% of it is just numbers on a computer, like zeros and ones.
Yeah, no different than fucking what Bitcoin is, right?
It's no different. There's no different at all.
Yeah. Yes, it is. There's a blockchain behind Bitcoin.
Well, here's the weird thing about money. All right,
sorry, I was going to get really hardcore. Yeah, I know you were going
to. Well, money it ties into the end of the world too. Like I agree with that.
For sure it does, and it's the cause of a lot of deaths, right? Like
fractional reserve bacon.
Yeah, it comes. Like, it creates wars.
If a country like the United States goes broke and they need to borrow money, they buy a bond from the Federal Reserve, and then the Federal Reserve will give them $1 billion in bonds, and then they'll take that $1 billion, invest it in certain ways. And then they'll make $1 billion into $10 billion, and then they start. And the thing is, why we can't ever escape the system. I'm not sure if I said it on this podcast or not before, But it's an impossible system to escape now ever since they made interest. Because even if we paid back every single dollar that's ever in circulation and we gave it all back to the Federal Reserve, there's still billions and billions of dollars in interest that was created of thin air and that doesn't even exist, right? So most of the currency now is just interest. So it's a foolproof system that we can never escape at this point.
Even, like, imagine if everything got paid off, they wiped debt in general. You know how fucked we would be? Everybody's currency would be worth nothing. Like,
well, you couldn't do it, yeah. Like, there's... But, and what would you, like, I mean, right now, like, in our society, I mean, we need money, but, like, in societies, like, if you were to go to maybe Thailand, we'll talk about, because we were talking about earlier, like, it's a lot of those people that live there in, like, poverty countries will just, it's more of back what we were talking about, trading actual goods for other goods, opposed to this piece of plastic for a good.
Sure, right? Money exists, but it doesn't run their lives the way it does
everywhere, almost everywhere else. Like, not everywhere, but close to everywhere.
A good chunk of the world. Yeah.
See, and this is why Bitcoin is popular. Bitcoin came about in 2008 when...
We're going to bring this back to fucking Bitcoin.
Well, you have to, man. Bitcoin came about in 2008 because of the housing bubble, and they bailed out all the banks, and people are like, fuck this. They're not going to do anything about it. They just devalued our money by like 25%. We need something else that we can control.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll stop talking about Bitcoin.
No, it's okay. We get it. Like, the Bitcoin
is
another
Ethereum, bitches.
Okay, well, Ethereum is only a means to get Bitcoin,
no,
so it's
not.
just
no,
Bitcoin.
No, Ethereum has other shit behind it. There are smart contracts behind it where you can make.
You know what?
I love making them rant. It's so easy to make them rant.
This is what my friends do with me all the time.
What we're gonna do one day
piss me off.
is we're gonna have one just about. We'll have one just about currencies. We'll have a podcast just on currencies.
Fractional
we'll
reserve
get it all out.
Yeah, just to get it off of our system.
We'll get it out of our system. We'll talk about money. We'll talk about the monetary system as a whole.
All right, I want to talk about the end of the world then.
Let's get back to the end of the world. So right now, and our last little bit that we were talking about was kind of like the end of food supply was kind of where we were going with it.
The harvest situation stops. We're no longer fertilize. Like, there's no proper pollination going on. As soon as corn ends and as soon as the bees end with pollinating, there's a good chance that
where in history do we know, like as like archaeologists, that bees were around? Were they been around since the beginning?
Forever.
Yeah, they've been around from like almost the beginning, right?
Dinosaurs, man.
Yeah, they must have. Like, there may have been other ways to pollinate without bees at some point, like in a primitive form, but it's nothing as effective as bees.
Yeah, for sure, right? And it's fast. Yeah, they do it so fast. It's
the two things we've looked at are a mass population die-off caused from viruses, or the second one was lack of food and pollination.
Super solid arguments on both ends.
Yeah.
Now, I've spent a long time
Bitcoin
listening to...
Sorry, I had to take it.
Crash of
Go
Bitcoin.
Ahead. Go ahead.
I spent a long time listening to what some people call doom porn, which is just basically a bunch of speculation of people being like, oh, this is why the world's... Alex Jones. Alex Jones is perfect doom porn. I don't listen to Alex Jones, but there's a lot of people. Okay. There are many situations that could play out. One of them is solar flares. There are people who... There's this guy, Suspicious Observers. He has a YouTube channel. His whole thing is to watch the sun, watch the solar flares. The amount of solar flares we have getting have been bigger. They've been more intense, and like.
So what's a solar flare? Explain it.
It is the sun putting out a massive amount of energy.
Gamma, right?
Gamma rays.
Gamma rays.
Our atmosphere
radiation and stuff
could absorb and deflect to a certain point.
There was a case of a solar flare where it caused a great power outage in Toronto. I think it was like the western or eastern side of things. It was, I think it was a solar flare that did that.
The Tunguska event.
I can't remember what it was. Yeah, but I do remember like it wiped out a lot of electronics. So like just to give you an idea of what solar flares might be able to do, there's also the famous case of 4 scientists inside a space station where they got hit by gamma rays and they became the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I remember that happening.
Yeah, that was great. One guy turned into stone. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah, we haven't heard from them in a while.
But really though, like that's actually a situation where there wasn't a name for something and then comics came up with a name for it. I'm just saying, it was gamma rays at that point and then they went with gamma rays afterwards. But that did take out a lot of electronics, which is another like a global outage. Is another thing that could really cause some pretty serious problems. Yeah.
So what these solar flares, our atmosphere was at one point we were able to deflect massive amounts, massive solar flares. Now, our magnetosphere is weakening, and smaller flares are affecting us more than they used to.
Can you describe magnetosphere? I don't really fully understand what that is.
It is basically like...
Are we talking like almost atmosphere?
Yeah,
like
the
ozone
atmosphere,
and...
the ozone that deflects these gamma rays.
I thought that's what you were going with. I just wanted to double make sure. But we, as a society, are destroying that ozone by using natural resources like fuels, oils. All that stuff is really doing that.
It is somewhat cyclical, but yes, we are having a big hand in destroying it.
Yeah, that is a nice word.
Cyclical, it means it happens in cycles.
No, I know that, but we just think it was a good word to describe said situation.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, that is one situation that some people are afraid of.
I think that's a solid fucking argument, though.
A big enough solar flare could cause an EMP, which permanently disables any electronic device.
We can simulate an EMP, can we not? Like EMP grenades and stuff like that? Yeah, like it's a simulation of what it is?
Basically, I'm not sure how real EMP grenades are, but there has always been a way that people have perceived
electronic magnetic pulse, right?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I just wanted to make sure I had it right.
There are ways people have, like, I'm not sure if people have done this, but at least people have thought of doing this. If you put a large enough nuclear blast in a certain, basically, spot, not directly on the Earth, but in the atmosphere, it can cause a big enough EMP to take out basically anything.
You know, you're talking electronically, right?
Yep. It would fry any electronics, anything with batteries, basically anything with a computer chip in it.
That's
anyone on life support would die.
Well, that's what I was thinking. There's a lot of things that we rely upon, just energy alone, not even just computer, just straight up energy alone that we rely upon. But like everything that EMP pulse being able to like wipe out that much, like that's almost like a new version of warfare. That's like, you know, we had our gas warfare.
Is what comes after cyber
our
warfare.
Nuclear warfare, and now
cyber warfare. They're also this is another reason. It could be another thing. I don't know if you've heard of the Stuxnet virus, but this was a big virus. This is my favorite virus in the world.
The fact that he has a favorite. He's got I got a scale of viruses, but this is the fucking Papa Smurf of goddamn viruses.
Well, there's gorgeous. A good documentary on it.
This, you know what? It's more the Smurf at. I want to fuck this virus.
Yes. If I can meet the creator, I would shake his hand.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
I would fuck his mouth.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Okay, so Stuxnet was a virus, basically the most complicated virus that has ever been created. Most viruses have one or maybe two attack methods, which is a way to get into your computer.
So like worming
or getting put in via USB.
Okay.
Like that's a very common attack method. Don't pick up any USBs and plug them into your computer ever.
What about those USBs that are like randomly placed around the fucking world?
Those are mine.
Okay.
I did those.
I've been putting them everywhere.
No, people do that because they're the undetected malware that you can put on there. There's also USB things that will fry the USB port that it goes in.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, you used to have viruses have definitely changed from when I was younger. Like they had cute little names like the Cookie Monster virus and shit like that. Like
I Love
the
You
Barney
virus.
Yeah, like a lot of weird
I Love
things
You
like
was
that.
one of the.
It's really evolved. It's like the fucking rapey virus now.
Yeah. The I Love You virus was one of the first viruses. It was basically a worm that spread through emails, and it was basically like it sent an email to someone, and it was like, "Hey, check out this love letter, whatever." You opened it, and it would just basically keep spreading. A lot of these viruses back in the day were not really harmful. Now they are fucking super harmful and could literally end the world. So back on Stuxnet, people believe it was created by Israel and the U.S. military. This had 7 different ways to infect a computer. Now, what happened with Stuxnet? It was somehow put on a computer device on the network. Well, a computer in the Iranian nuclear missile project, like where they were building nuclear missiles. Now, all these computers in super hardcore places like this are called air-gapped, which means they're not connected to any network. This virus somehow got on these computers, so we're thinking it was USB. It somehow got on these computers.
So it'd have to be almost like inside, like somebody that's involved.
But this is where it gets crazy, because that happens all the time. It was able to propagate the network, go along the network, find out which computers were responsible for spinning the centrifuges. Now, these are not computers running like
controlling
Windows.
where the nukes are pointing.
That sounds like AI at this point, like to be able to like fucking move itself through the system to find exactly.
It was programmed to do this. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
It was one sole
the
purpose.
centrifuges are they have to constantly spin at a certain rate, or else basically the whole system could fail. So it went in, found basically all the centrifuges it could. It waited a certain time, and then like it waited a couple of weeks or something to make sure it wasn't necessarily detected. And what it did is it would set this cycle where it sped up the centrifuges super fast, and then did that for a little bit, and then it spun them super, super slow. And it also made it so the control panel that was showing what the centrifuges are doing just said, like, yeah, everything's going good.
Wow.
So it did this for, I believe, like 3 months or something, and basically broke the centrifuges. This shut down the Iranian missile, defense capabilities. It shut them down for months.
So it made them vulnerable to any kind of attack.
And they were working on building nukes. People believe that this has what stopped them from creating their own nukes, was this one virus.
Wow. I thought it was all like Syria funding.
Israel has a lot of funding to do with it. Syria kind of funds it, but like people believe this came from America because it was so fucking complex. Now, I'm not saying America's top of the game for hacking. I would give that to Israel.
As top of the game?
Yeah.
Really?
Why would you say Israel?
Why Israel?
Israel is they're one of the few places who actually have like a cyber army. Israel has mandatory military enrollment, so if you live in Israel, you have to serve in the army for I believe it's 3 years.
Right.
I'm not sure on that, but they have a massive budget, well, massive relatively, for cyber defense.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do they specialize in cyber warfare? Or?
Yes, they've always been very good at hacking.
That's how like things like Sony got hacked.
Yes.
At least they say.
Yes. Some of the top hackers come from Israel and Palestine, places like that. Like, I have met some of these guys, and they are crazy.
Do you feel that they do these like Sony hacks just to demonstrate exactly what they can do? Like, yeah, as opposed because there's no real purpose. Like, who gives a shit about what movies are being released? Like, I think it's just more of like a hey, we can fucking do this.
So you know, we can take your biggest system. Like, I mean, PlayStation is something that I remember that.
Yeah,
remember when the PlayStation was a little bit different.
That was the credit card hack, I think, for the PlayStation. Sony was
a
year
year
or two.
Network for
Couple days. Well, it was on Christmas actually, but that was like it was around Christmas, like which was a big thing for like Sony as a company.
That was.
I think that was just a group of people, wasn't it?
That was Lizard Squad, which was a bunch of script kiddies, which are basically amateur hackers who don't write their own code. They download publicly accessible code that's already written. Who just says they're using booters or DDoS attacks, which is a very simple thing that a lot of people know how to do, where it just basically sends a lot of pings to a network, someone's computer.
Overloads it, right?
Yeah, it overloads it.
Oh, okay.
But what they did is they probably went on the darknet and rented a botnet, which is a command and control point for a bunch of infected computers. So you could buy a large botnet that has, or rented actually, a botnet that has thousands of computers, and then do that same attack, and it is substantially stronger. So what these people did is rented a botnet and then DDoS attacked as many Sony servers as they could. Very, very, very simple attack.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That doesn't really like... It doesn't sound like it would be a government-issued attack. Like, the one that I was thinking is the one where they, like, leaked out all of the fucking movie information and stuff. Something that's worth billions of dollars.
People said it was North Korea. No, that was not North Korea.
I never once thought it was North Korea. Like, no matter how many people said it, I was like, why would... North Korea, first of all, I don't think has the knowledge to be able to get in there. No. They have, like, they're very primitive, but they present themselves a lot.
They have a grand total of 60 sites in their entire North Korea.
So jumping back to the end of the world.
Yeah.
I'm going to cause it. No. there are... Okay, what you were saying with people, do people just show off? There was a couple months ago, I think it was Dallas, someone hacked one of the hydro plants or something, and basically just played music. Like, they're not doing this to show you, like, hey, we could do this, he. They're doing this to show, like, hey, if we can do this, we can shut down your fucking power, you better secure your shit.
And that sounds more like a safe hack, you know, like they're trying to show people that...
There's black hat hacking, which is people who steal credit cards, There's gray hat hacking, which is something like this, and then there's white hat hacking, which is you work for a company and secure their website.
Yeah.
Gray hat is where you're trying to do something good, but it is technically still illegal.
So now, bringing this back to the end of the world, do you feel that like a shutdown of like information, the information highway as we know it, do you think that is the thing?
Shutting down the internet is probably not what's going to happen, but people have been saying for years that yes, someone could easily shut down some of these hydro dams. All of it the U.S. power grid is notoriously weak. Someone could hypothetically shut down that entire thing.
It wouldn't end the world, though, would it?
I don't think so. I think it would just put us in a state of panic.
It could lead to a massive fuck up, though.
I think that would move us towards a state of panic.
Yeah.
Which that's in itself is also very dangerous, right? That's where you get martial law.
Maybe it'd be a good thing. Maybe we all go back to like our primitive selves and start fires with sticks.
And if people can hack into the Iranian nuclear defense system, who says they can't hack into the command and control system for the nukes?
Now, do we really believe
this?
That there's a fucking button
going to end it all?
See, that's another thing. People are super skeptical about what's going on with North Korea right now, and we need to do a preemptive strike.
I think everybody at this point is like they hear what North Korea says, but they take everything that they say with a gigantic grain of salt. So what's real?
But it's
what's
super
not?
dangerous to do that.
Well, it is, but like I mean, maybe
a lot
fucking
of
North Korea
very
has
educated in North Korea, though.
Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe North Korea has been playing their cards fucking right this whole time by letting people think that they're fucking crazy, or Kim Jong-un, whatever his name is. I can't remember which one it is. Is it Un right now? That he does these things, like he says these things, and people are like, yeah, fuck, whatever.
It could be totally
maybe he's totally fucking telling the truth. Yeah,
what we know though is he has nuclear weapons. They are not capable of hitting America, but he could hit China. Which he wouldn't, because China's probably on his side.
Well, they need China
sold them
for
those nukes.
Yeah, that's the thing. They need China for a lot of their resources.
Yeah,
it's
like
South
if China
Korea.
that was the issue. Like if North
crazy...
Korea or China cut off North Korea from like a lot of the resources, like that was one of the threats.
Like it sounds like we're jumping into another world war, like the world war.
Well, world war is going to happen.
A
world war is going to happen.
Could happen.
It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
There's so many countries warring, like India, Pakistan, America, and Russia are at it. Fucking.
You almost think though, like a huge world war. I think almost it's like I feel like it's like a shaken up. Right now, the world's like a shaken up Pepsi can, carbonated, and you open it up and it's going to explode. But at the end of it, I feel like it's going to be the only real enlightenment would be forming one country and being governed by one and
socialism.
You
dirty whore.
Well, fuck.
Get out.
Well, fuck. What are you gonna say? You know what I mean? Like, what is like? What's if you have multiple territories? Yeah, but if you have multiple territories and multiple like everyone defending their own rights and their own culture, which is obviously going to exist.
Yeah.
But if you have things like that, it creates an opportunity for a war, right?
Right now, the way that if we got into a socialism aspect where it's like all ruled by one.
Canada.
No, I'm not talking.
One of the most socialist countries out there.
Well, no, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like in this, like if we had like a unified government in the world,
one country,
new world order.
Canada was
a new world order. The only thing that would happen is you'd have a lot more uprisings from different territories that want to be the next person. Who's going to be that person? It's not going to be a democratic vote.
Right. That's the problem with socialism. Is that everyone thinks they can do it right, but power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Everybody's right, though. That's the thing, is like nobody's wrong in any situation. Everybody thinks they're the right person. So,
yeah, of course.
Like what he thinks is right is definitely going to conflict with what that person thinks is right, and that's going to create the conflict that would just end up being like an even bigger war. I think in the end with socialism,
democracy, we're just like sure everyone says. Oh, they've never done socialism right, but I think.
We're born that way though. Like I feel like society can change itself. Like I feel like we're born into like if you were just born in a country, just imagine yourselves. Okay, you put 50 people in a piece of land that were all just everyone shared with everyone loved everyone was on very common grounds, everyone protected that chunk of land that those 50 people lived on. Society would be okay. But if you get like 5 nasty people in that 50. Right? That's when you're starting to segregate. Now we need more of leadership. Now we need, this is my territory, this is where you sleep. I'm going to sleep on the high ground, you're going to sleep on the low ground. As soon as you get like a certain society of people that are acting or feeling a different way than that unified group, that's when trouble happens.
But I think that as humans, we are like enact to be doing that. Like we're built. So? I think that as humans and evolution, It's always kind of like every society that we've had throughout history, like, is always crumbled due to basically that, you know, like that people, there's always that group of people that are gonna like yammer about this, and it happens in fucking workplaces, it happens in cities, it happens in fucking provinces and countries,
like, but in workplaces, if you want to go there where it's a small community of people, the restaurant, we'll use ours, the restaurant still runs every day.
It does.
Everyone takes in everyone's ideas to somewhat degree. There's for sure going to be a couple dictators in it all, but at the end of the day, what restaurant's running, people are happy at the restaurant, and we're doing our mission that we need to in that one small building. I'm just it's just unrealistic to you guys putting it on like
a global scale.
On a global scale,
yeah.
But it's
what I have to say to this is socialism can work in small groups. If there was just 20 people, sure, everything could be fair, everything could be equal.
When it doesn't work is when something is taken away. When a food source is limited, when there's something to fight over,
or when someone wants power, which is always going to happen.
That's the thing that I would be mostly worried about.
We are tribalists. We have always been tribalists.
The biggest
always
dog
wanted a group.
leads
we
the
have
pack.
Always been alpha males. There's a quote, I heard it just recently, so I'm not sure who said it, but socialism is a great idea, but it's for the wrong species. It does not work in humans.
Because everybody thinks that they're right. That's
exactly.
what I think it always comes down to, is like, what I think is right may not be what you think is right, and
everyone's
vice versa.
How do you train everyone to, like, for me and you, for example, because we can't put it on a world scale just yet. Like, let's talk about like a small.
You gotta work locally to work globally.
It's more feasible to think of a group of 10 than it is 10 billion. Right?
Yeah.
So let's just think, like, for me and you, for example, I can still listen and have a conversation, even though you don't even if you disagree with me, or if I disagree with you, I still take what you say into consideration.
Absolutely. And
I'm confident that me and you can work it out, and I'm not going to feel vindictive about it. I'm not going to feel angry about you the next day if we have an argument about something. Like, I still appreciate what you've said and understand your view, right? Like, that's just two like-minded people.
Yeah.
Now you're saying, like, now we have people that obviously want to be in power and obviously are going to be greedy and whatever, but I feel like a lot of that is due to social influence. Like, I feel like a lot of it is you're not born. I understand the primitive side of things, and there's always going to be a leader in the pack, which is fine, but at the same time, like, I don't feel like everyone is born to be that way. Like, I feel like people, if we have retrained society, which would have to happen if a world like this was to work, but if you retrain society where you're not having every time you turn on the news, you're watching nukes getting fired off, you're watching one dictator yell at another dictator, you're not watching all this stuff that's jammed into your brain saying that leaders need to happen and my country's better than your country and killing is normal in this part of the world, so they're animals. And, you know, if all this wasn't just flushed into you at such a young age, which it is, right? We're just programmed we watch this and it influences our daily lives.
I get what you're saying.
If that wasn't put, and take that out, and now you put into, like, this, I know it sounds like hippie talk, but
that would bring us back to, we would need a global reboot for something like that to happen.
Yeah, you're right.
I get what you're saying, but you could look at countries that have been socialist from the beginning, and it always ends in one guy having power.
It would have to be a reset.
Even then, I don't think it's going to work. There's something ingrained in our DNA where
I think
we're always going to fight for ourselves.
In this situation, I think it's more of a constant prolonging. What's the thing that's going to prolong this from happening and prolong it again? And, like, it's always going to, because that's just, it is ingrained in our DNA to be the leader of the pack, to be the top dog. I mean, it's just how it is. Like, when you're in a job,
why is it that
you
way?
always want to be the top.
It's a primitive, like, if you think it's back from 10,000 years ago,
so.
It's marked in our DNA.
I'm sure long enough you could train us to be otherwise, but that would take a long time.
Again, a global reboot, I think, would take that, because you'd have to wipe out the views and the thoughts of people from the past.
It would have to last generations and generations, because we would still have that DNA ingrained in ourselves.
Yeah, we would constantly be going in a circle.
I've had this conversation a million times with my friends.
No, it's good. I like it too. I'm really enjoying it too. Like, we all have, like, very similar but, like, slightly different views on how it would work.
I think it's a great idea. I just think it's unrealistic.
I think I'm on that page too. Like, the unrealistic aspect of it.
I just think, like, because people think it's unrealistic, it is unrealistic. People I know at this state that we're in now. Okay, let me be. I know in the state and that we're in right now in the world, it is not a possibility. I know it's not a possible thing to do. But if we were to hit the reset button and we were to, like, restart this world over, and I think it would be a better way to go about it, and it's it's a very cool way to think that society could run with itself and people could live with each other in like a way where they didn't have to have like this. I think we're programmed almost in today's society to be that way. Like I don't
guaranteed we are.
Definitely.
It's not something I think there is DNA in us where it's like, okay, we know we have to, there's a thrill you get when you hunt, when you shoot a gun, there's thrills you get from like these natural things like hunting, gathering, when you plant, right? We were talking about like when you're picking your own vegetables, that's all for sure handed down in DNA, but I don't know if like, and gladiators sure, like, right, like fighting, but I'm not confident to say that I think it has to be that way. I think there's been proven ways that you can alter DNA trends. Yeah. There's ways that we could reset society in a weird hippie loving way, where I feel like we could all
see. And like I'm seeing the way that you're seeing this, but like we've been saying this from the beginning. We're very like-minded people. We like to hear what the other person says and bounce back and forth on different opinions. And it doesn't matter where this path goes. We always end up in the same place on a agree to disagree or agree to agree, and we're really good and very different people. Yeah. But if you take a moment and think in your life, somebody that if you had this conversation with would go terribly wrong.
Oh yeah.
Put that into your mix, and that's always going to be there.
There's always at least 1% of people who are assholes, probably 10%.
And that 1% can rally up a lot more people. Yeah. They tend to find each other, and that's.
Alex Jones.
Yeah, it's true though. Sure. Like, he's one of those people. Like I've heard him talk. That guy's interesting. Let's go with interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap this up with one last theory, a little bit more positive. Another thing that could happen to possibly end the world, not necessarily the world, but humans as we know it. The technological.
Our next evolution.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next evolution. I'm
glad you brought this up because
I am not necessarily a firm believer, but I like to think about it. The singularity, where we are moving.
The Matrix syndrome, almost.
Basically, we are moving to a point where we are already at the point where we can replace limbs and shit. We're starting to replace.
We can create robots that can think on their own, that they can answer questions.
At one point, we are going to find a way to put consciousness into a machine where we can get rid of our flesh bags and just have something that we can go on and on. Mm-hmm. And this may not be a good thing because that means
something has its own consciousness and they can't be destroyed and
exactly.
and now they know how to make themselves.
Look what happens right now with the technology we have. It's so easy to get infected and getting like taken over. Like put your conscious into that.
Yeah.
It's a whole new way to like
whoa.
Yeah.
We're already getting there. Like the amount these algorithms know on people just based on Facebook is crazy.
Yep.
We're gonna get to the point where we can rebuild a person based off their Facebook posts.
I got a really I have one story that this like where we talk about algorithms. I can't remember where I heard it, but it's a secondhand story. There was a girl in the States that kept getting coupons from Walmart or Target. It was Target, sorry. They kept getting coupons about baby stuff and like here's a baby thing and here you can buy this baby Gerber food and like here's coupons for all this. And the father was getting very angry that his 17-year-old daughter was getting these things and went to Target and fucking freaked out on Target and said, you need to stop giving these. This is not okay. You're ingraining them to have a baby, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gets home and less than a week later, he finds out that his daughter is pregnant. Target was watching what she was purchasing and figured out before her own father could figure out that she was pregnant and sent her coupons for it. Whoa. He went back and apologized to Target being like, I didn't know. Yeah. And so like that type of algorithm,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. Like they can figure the shit out.
Exist.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
I think it's naive not to say that that's our next branch in evolution.
I saw a video the other day where they took an AI and basically it was just like legs and they didn't give it any information and it taught itself how to walk. Like literally walk, go over obstacles, all this crazy shit.
What the fuck?
Yeah, there's a video online, just went out the other day. Like it's just like it walks really fucking weird, but it's walking.
Yeah.
And it's solving, self-correcting. Every time it fails, it gets smarter.
Well, yeah, and like that aspect of we were talking about it before with the Mario, where Mario killed himself when he didn't know what to do, so he's like, well, the only option I have is to fucking die, so he kills himself. We're on that path where this shit kind of starts is happening within our our reach. You know, we're seeing this stuff, and this is stuff we all dreamed about as kids, as like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? But the harsh reality of it is like, yeah, it is cool, but it's also scary as shit. Yeah. I do believe, fuck, who was it? It might have been Stephen Hawking that says AI is probably going to be the end
of the world,
of everything that we know.
Yeah. Elon Musk just today, he's been doing this for a while, but he keeps saying we need to regulate AI before it like takes us over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do see that shit happening. Yeah. So, like, if we're gonna take some sort of conclusion in this, actually, one last theory that I was, kill all the robots. What's the end of the world to us? Like, what is your definition of the end of the world? Is the end of the world everybody dies? Is the end of the world the way we know the world? Like, does something change that? This is the way we live. This is the way we are. Does that end the world? Like, you know, consciousness is going into ropes. That's changing the way the world is for us. Is that what the end of the world is? Because for the dinosaurs, it was an extinction. In other situations, though, it could change. Like, maybe it is something like socialism, where everything becomes unified and it works. That's the end of the world as we know it. Yeah. And it becomes a new world that we're not aware of.
I think we've all agreed with all these theories. A lot of this is self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Like, it's people killing themselves off. It's kind of like what almost all these theories, and it seems, we had asteroids.
There are possible natural things,
but yeah, of course.
Oh, there's always the percentage of that.
That's gonna happen, but that's like it's gonna happen no matter which way.
We didn't even talk about natural disasters, you know, like, and that's,
we didn't.
Yeah, and that's another big thing that's a possibility, because our world is
in complete that disarray. Can explode at any goddamn moment that will wipe out half a country.
Super volcanoes and shit. There's a lot. We can keep
fucking
going
hurricanes, platonic plates moving.
Like, fucking here.
It is. So I think, in my personal opinion, you guys can agree, disagree, we are going to be the death of the planet.
I agree.
In one way or another. That might mean, I believe the end of the world might be consciousness is altered. We might be the death of the planet.
Me too.
But that may lead to something else. We may be another superorganism.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm totally with you. That's a great conclusion.
Well, if you didn't know, this is Why the Fuck Not, where three friends sit around one table for bringing up one topic of discussion for your amusement. If you're not exactly aware, we do have a Facebook page. You can find us on there, Why the Fuck Not Podcast, and you can reach us from there if you have any topics or any type of discussion that you want to bring to the table, our community, to be able to discuss these things amongst themselves. Sometimes that can end up in our podcast as it is. You can also find us on YouTube, WTFN Podcast, and the best place to find us, I would say, is Podbean. You can find us on there, WTFN Podcast, as well. Either way, this has been a great topic, guys.
Yeah, a lot of fun talking.
It was lots of fun. Great. This was really good. So I'm Ed.
I'm Dwayne. And I'm Aaron.
DJ Easy Dick.